Hello everyone, my name is Ayas Kalna Pandit and today I'm going to explain about broadcasting and network security in NGN. Okay, moving on to the first slide. Here we can see a shift in broadcasting spectrum, which enables a more efficient use in the digital spectrum. By utilizing digital broadcasting, the usage of the spectrum can be used much more efficiently. Previously, during the TV analog era, it consumes almost most of this bandwidth, 328 megahertz to be exact. And in the digital TV era, it is spread over the future digital TV, uh, digital terrestrial TV, and the digital dividend, which is potentially freed up in the shift from the analog and into the digital TV. And this in turn will give space to a new audiovisual content provider such as Instagrammer, YouTuber, TikToker, and etc. Content provider can offer services directly to all market without gatekeepers, which are the agent that monitors the content, since it is uploaded individually. And this multi-platform media challenges governments instruments to control it, and this makes broadcasting an international and a more competitive market. Okay, now let's move on into the convergence into the IP-based network. And there are three parts to it. The first one being the enabler, which are the IP-based network, high-speed network, which are 4G and above, availability of multimedia devices, the digitalization of content, and etc. And there's also the convergence between the broadcasting and the telecommunication providers. And for the telecommunication providers or operator, it provides content, and the broadcaster provides contents over IP-based network, which turn users from passive watchers into an active watchers. Now, let's move on into the converged approach to content, which are video, audio, text, and etc. It can be divided into 5 sections, and let's start with uh, the first one, which is the scope of the regulation. In the scope of the regulation, it defines the regulation for the broadcasting services. It may include plurality, cultural variety, national identity, and decency as the social economic issues addressed. And for this scope of regulation, the decency and the rules is pretty much different for every state or nation. And in NGN era, not only broadcasting institutions that can create contents, but individuals have the ability to create their own content. Now let's move on into the second one, which is the ensuring effective competition, which means that everyone gets equal access to content, so that it provides a competition in the content segment. And government can ensure this by educating customers, reducing switching costs, and simplifying bureaucratic process for newcomers. Let's now dive into the spectrum allocation, which basically allows the allocation for the digital dividend. And government should allocate the digital dividend equally. And move on into the public interest for content, and it describes that the shift from institutional supervision to system-based supervision. The regulation should also take into account changes in information supply and the programming supply. And last but not least, advertising. Uh, the problem in the NGN era for the advertising is that users can now skip advertisements, such as in the case of maybe, for example, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And furthermore, in this NGN era, there's the objective of minimizing the number of regulators, since previously And traditionally, there are distinctions between the broadcast regulators and the telecommunication regulators. The minimization of these regulators will result in smaller regulatory cost and further reducing the potential for inconsistency and uncertainty. The need for improved horizontal coordination in the regulation of the communications industry clearly rises as a result of NGN convergence. Now, let's move on into the network security of the NGN. And it can be generally divided into three main parts, which are the background, objectives, and the standard organization. The background for the network security is that NGN is IP based, hence it is developed by open protocols, which makes it prone into a threat from outside. In NGN, threats could come from anywhere due to the borderless nature of the IP networks. And the fact that nowadays most people are dependent on the use of internet also adds up to the security problems in NGN. Hence, the security is a very crucial component for a competitive economy. And now for the objectives are to ensure balance between privacy and freedom of expression for the users or customers. For the NGN part, it should provide reliable connection anywhere at any time, since people are becoming dependent on the network. And for the standard organization, there are international standard organizations that collaborates on these issues, such as ITU, ETSI, ISO, IETF, and 3GPP. And now let's move on into the last part, which is the security issues. And here, attacks in the security will have a negative impact on companies' revenue, and thus ITU recommends security on three layers, which are the infrastructure, service, and the applications layers. So from this ITU resolution X.805, it concludes that there are 5 possible threats in this NGN, which are the destruction, corruption, removal, disclosure, and the interruption. The destruction is basically a destruction of network by any means. The corruption is corruption on the network assets, which is an attack into the integrity. The removal of information and assets, disclosure or unauthorized access to an information or assets, and interruption when the network suddenly becomes unavailable or unusable. And there are also 9 threats and risks for VoIP or voice over IP, which are viruses and malwares, loss, alteration or deletion of contents, eavesdropping through interception and or duplication, DOS attack or denial of service attack, unidentified location in an emergency situation, the lack of system management, and last but not least, the power failure that can negatively affect NGN. Okay, thanks for watching.